This is the Kindness Matters podcast, a space for stories that inspire, challenge, and bring us a little closer together. If you've been looking for a reminder of the good in people, you're in the right place, because kindness matters, and so do you. It's kindness we are. Hey, hello, and welcome everybody to the Kindness Matters podcast. I am your host, Mike Rathbun. I am so excited to have you here today for so many reasons, but I mean, honestly, when you think about it, we all have just so many hours in every day, right? And the fact that you took a portion of one of those hours out of your day to tune in and listen to this show, really, that's the best feeling in the whole world. So thank you for that. Thank you for spreading the kindness and for telling your friends and neighbors about it. And I appreciate you, each and every one of you that tuned in. I have a fantastic guest for you today. This gentleman, John King is his name. I should say his name, probably, right? He spent decades in the military, Air Force and Army, I believe.
Yep.
And when he got out, he couldn't stop creating things. He is the founder of Goose's Bar and Grill. For my listeners in the Omaha area that might know that, out in Papillion. Veteran Reach Back Group, Eagle Rising Foundation, P&P Design, all of these businesses. But the one I'm most interested in is and we'll talk about it. But Eagle Rising Foundation, their mission is to empower individuals through mentorship, fostering personal and professional growth, while strengthening community ties through enriching events. And it's so crazy. You have trouble sitting still, don't you, John? Welcome to the show, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Honored to be here. And yeah, I've I've been accused of that from time to time, but you'd be surprised how much I sit around when I get the chance. So
I can't even imagine what sitting around looks like to you. Yeah, I was sitting around rebuilding my barbecue.
Yeah, that's my current day gig, is getting that done and finalized and approved through the health department, so I can start selling my barbecue here locally.
What's the name of it again? Is it
Bootleg Barbecue?
That's it.
Just started about 6 weeks ago with my Facebook page on that, and I've been going out and doing weekly free giveaways of barbecue, inviting folks to come out. I just got invited and supported 2 different schools for their teachers. So I got to go out and feed their teachers and principals and a few others, special needs teachers as a group at one of the schools. So really getting to just do what I love, which is feed people and bring some joy.
Absolutely. Well, and you do enjoy bringing joy. Part of when I asked for guests for this particular podcast, I was looking for people who could talk about kindness that shows up when you don't really expect it. And I think you have got so many stories about that, right?
Oh, yeah.
What's it like how many years exactly were you in the service between the Air Force and the Army?
20 years, 6 months, and 6 days. Not that I counted.
You could probably tell me seconds and minutes if I needed it, right? So, and when you got out, you're disabled to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, through the VA, I'm 100%, and then I also receive what they call combat-related special compensation instead of my retirement. So that allows my retirement essentially to be tax-free, which, it comes at a price, but it's nice that I get it, and
Yeah.
I help others understand what that means and where and if they need to apply for it, and kind of guide them through that process as well.
Yeah,
That one I do for
and
free. I joke
fair
about
enough.
some of my poor business models. Most of them are for free.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the bounce house, right?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, for real, it's hard after you spend that much time in in the service. It can be hard to transition, can it? Coming in, especially if you have any kind of disability.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of veterans have difficulty in their transition from military to civilian life, whether they're in retirement or even just done their 4-year stint, even, and to that case, some of the folks that just made it through tech school, even, whatever the case may be, they all signed
Right.
that check and started through basic. So at some level, they've had a mental mind shift, and that mental mind shift when you transition back into the civilian world, you have to make that on the flip side. Well, unfortunately, there's thousands of programs that are out there helping veterans and whatnot, but that's come to the point where it's almost overwhelming for the veteran. They're not sure which way to turn, to get the help they need or identify the help that they might need. So, you know, just telling my story, I hope that it kind of guides people through a smoother process. At the end of the day, they still got to find their own way. They still got to do their own process, but hopefully they learn, some of the hiccups that I've had and hurdles that I've faced and go around them or go through them, know which ones you can break through and which ones you have to jump over.
Right. For sure. Yeah, that definitely sounds like a adapt and overcome, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that a Marine slogan?
I'm not sure. It wouldn't surprise me though.
Kind of sounds like something Tarhead would say. Oh, I'm a former wingnut, so I probably shouldn't say anything. Um, what and is that where a lot of your I mean, because not everybody is a born entrepreneur. You seem to be. Um, did the military help with that or put that on a back burner for a while? Because I feel like you've been an entrepreneur probably since you were a kid.
Yeah, at heart I have been. And in reality, I'm a weird split of personalities in the sense that when I was 18, I went and visited my older brother in college, and I hadn't graduated yet, but I had a ride to college, like scholarship wise, and so I went up to visit the college and him, and ended up partying that weekend. And I realized I probably needed some more structure because if I went there, I would just party my way out. So then I went to look at the Navy based on their careers. I could do the nuclear sub program, get out after 4 years, come back to Arkansas, and be set in a good financial set. Then I learned you had to be under the polar ice caps for like 6 months out of the year, and I said that's not for me. Let me nix that idea. So
In a
I
tin
go over to
can.
so I go over to the Air Force recruiter and end up signing up for this big long title, Command and Control Communications Navigation Systems Apprentice. Why did I pick that one? Because it sounded like a cool name. And at 18, why not? So end up getting through tech school, getting stationed at Offutt Air Force Base, and that's where I spent all my time in the Air Force. And this is going to sound crazy, but I did some math one day. This is a model of the E4 that I flew on,
Oh,
but
nice.
spent 10,000 hours roughly inside that tin can, whether on the ground or in the air. So I didn't, I was like,
It
would
wasn't
it
under the
really have
polar
been
ice
that
cap,
bad
but
to get
still it was a tin can.
it? Yeah. But yeah, so I like to joke about that. And then the opportunity came. I applied and got picked up by the Army to become a helicopter pilot. From there, I went on to get stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And I kind of what's the best way to say it? I wouldn't say argue, debated my way to the medevac and ended up showing up right as they were getting back from their one of their harder deployments. And here I am, wet behind the ears, ready to fly, and they're like, "Go do something." So fast forward 8 years, 3 deployments to Afghanistan, right around 300 missions from stub toe up, an aircraft accident, one I don't know what you'd call it. We landed with bullet holes, got out of that one, got back in another one, and went on for more missions. Um, but I ended up retiring in 17 and leaving the next generation. And so, but yeah, that's kind of the vision, and the thought was, if I'm doing 4, I can do 20. And when I do 20, then I got a guaranteed house payment and I can walk away and do whatever I want. Right.
Right.
And at 38, that's great options. Well, fast forward when you're 38 and all of a sudden you got wife, 2 kids, dog, house payment, all the things. And you're like, oh, I still like that stability. So let me go get a contractor job and guarantee the money. And then did 8 years of that across government contracting to working for Microsoft. And then last year, me and 8,999 of my closest friends got let go in their third round of layoffs, as part of what they had to downshift on. And so at the end of the day, I shifted my focus to the bar and grill and got that ship headed in the right direction. And then here recently, finally said, piss on it. I'm gonna put all my effort into me and let's see what I can do for myself and go from there. And that's where Bootleg Barbecue was born,
Yeah.
because it's here. I can touch it. I can make it happen. I can make it my own exactly how I want. So I've gone through the steps. I've submitted my stuff through the health department. They've approved my plans. So I'm currently building my Bootleg Barbecue trailer out of scrap pallets that I picked up uh, as part of just some of what I've done over the last few months, and then just scrap hinges and different stuff. And I'm building it straight out of my head to fit the trailer that I have. And instead of spending money on motor and transmission and all that, I can just throw it on my utility trailer and roll. So,
Park it in a parking
but
lot and
yes,
feed the
sir.
masses.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's so cool. What a life you've lived. Something that probably, and I'm sure there's some aspects of it you could pin down to something most of us wouldn't have nightmares about. But I can't imagine running medevac missions out of Afghanistan. The things that you've
There are
seen in
some
the stories
doozies.
you tell.
Here's one for you, just because I love showing it off.
Ooh,
So I'll show you that.
is
And
that a
then
medal?
these are some of the challenge coins that I received from their special ops team. But what's
Nice.
inside here is a Polish Army medal that I was awarded for one of my missions from supporting them.
Oh,
So
wow.
I like to show those off because I got them sitting here behind me. But yeah, that was one of my more interesting missions and unexpected missions, if you
So,
could say that.
you were in
And
support of the Polish armed forces? You were.
yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were in
Wow.
a what they would call a forward operating base, or a FOB, that was managed by them, for lack of better words,
Sure.
and supporting us and them in the area. So
Wow. I mean, a lot of guys get out of the service with quite a fruit salad on their chest, but not too many of them have medals from other countries on there.
that is fact, sir.
So kudos to that. So and you've kind of made it a mission of yours um to help others always. I mean, you're the Veteran Reach Back group. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So that balloon there came of time right about the same time as Eagle Rising Foundation, and they all stem from the kind of the same thing. So I'll speak about those in the same aspect in this case. But a little over 3.5 years ago, I had a lot of tragedy hit our family and me personally in short amount of time. We ended up losing my father-in-law early in the year to cancer. 3 months later, in a 3-day succession, I ended up losing my oldest brother to cancer, who is 4 years older than me. I lost my uncle to suicide, who lived and died his way, based on his health. And then the third day, we as a nation lost 9 service members out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky,
Oh yeah.
from the medevac that I was with the entire time.
Oh my
And
God.
while I didn't know them, I knew the aircraft very well. I knew the mission. I knew where they were at. I knew exactly what they were doing. And I was a former safety officer for that company as well. So I had, um, accident investigation experience and knowledge from doing that over the years, and just more of a outsider professional experience look, not beyond just the pilot's view of the accident. And so it really hit home. And then the
Yeah.
fourth day, that Monday, I had an interview for a manager job at Microsoft, as looking and trying to progress up in that. And you can imagine how well that went, of all this stuff just happening in the
All
first
of
thing
that
Monday
shit
morning.
show on your head. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
um, gave it a little bit, and then I reached out to three individuals that I have a lot of respect for professionally, personally, and said, hey, I've got this kind of thing. I don't know what it is or what it's going to be yet, but I'd love for you guys to be part of it. And I'm calling it Veteran Reach Back Group. And the initial concept was nothing more than the logo representing exactly what the intent was veterans looking back. If you look at the eagle, he's turned back looking, and
Yeah.
us reaching back to those that are still in service, because a lot of your information that you hear and get when you're in service are the ones that are still in service. They haven't
Yes.
done the transition yet, but they're putting charge and responsibility of giving you this information. And that's just one example, right? So wanting to reach back in some level to provide that mentorship to these veterans that are still in green suits. And again, I didn't know what that looked like. Well, that then give it 6 months. We all have lives, we all have day jobs, we all have the things, and nothing was really progressing in a fast manner, but things were constantly going in my head. So over that 6 months, they all kind of took their own uh, parting ways, which I still am great friends with all of them,
Sure.
and I have no ill will, and I wish them well. And I understood their scenarios, right? So Veteran Reach Big then became just John King, right? And I could have let it down the vine there, but I'm me, right?
Right.
I don't see the mission going away, and I've always seen it as a long-term play. So in that aspect of giving back, reaching back, and touching the service members that are still in, you'll hear that theme carried through Veteran Reachback as well as Eagle Rising. So now Veteran Reachback Group is turned into a multitude of businesses underneath it, from P&P Design, Real Apparel Company, all about that bounce. You know, the Bootleg Barbecue. All these things are tied and laid in that community vibe, as they all are from me. And it's me, and
Mhm.
I'm able to control um, things that happen within those. So now Veteran Reachback Group has become more of just the figurehead and what I stand for as a person and what I plan to do. And there's still a plan to do a mentorship program that is the idea is to place mentors at every level in military leadership and beyond, right? I'm talking
Yeah.
doctors, lawyers, everything, so that members can go to them at any time and ask those questions that are truly mentorship driven questions, and there's no anything tied to it of any sort, right? So there's free give
Right.
and take there. The mentors will be obviously approved through the chain of command, and they will have been in that role before and all the things, right? I'm not trying to throw somebody in there that doesn't have the knowledge and experience that needs to be. There'll be checks and
Sure.
balances in that. The other part of that is taking and individuals like myself, that I'm a bad example, so I'm going to say that now. Someone that's a year to 3 years removed from military service, and the example I'll give is a pilot. You take a system like an Oculus now, you put it on my head in Huntsville, and I can then fly a mission that I've flown 1,000 times at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, with a brand new pilot, and I can teach them the reservation that they're flying. I can teach them the nuances and air control and all the knowledge that's still in my head that can be taught and applied, whereas my physical body doesn't need to necessarily be there anymore. And now
Right.
I can transition that knowledge and experience for pennies on the dollar. The units can have racks and bays of these things and just schedule time with the mentors based on the mentors' time that they want to put into it, right? So taking and saying, Mike, you're a mentor. You're going to come fly with me, the new pilot today, John. You go in the calendar, you set in the times that you're available. So now when I go as a pilot to look at the schedule, I see who's available. I jump on when they're available and I take that time. No fuss, no muss for nobody. Nobody's demanding that anybody's got to be there. Nobody's demand. It's truly people there because they want to be there in that aspect. So that's still my future goal with Veteran Reach Back Group in the big sense, right? So I went on beyond that, and after we kind of separated, I went on and got Veteran Reach Back certified through the SBA as a service disabled veteran-owned small business. I got certified in SAM.gov, got my DUNS and number and all that jazz, and did everything that was possible with that organization just in case. Because if I come across somebody that comes along and says, hey, I love this about this and I want to take and run with it, perfect, do it. Go have fun. I've built this for people to take and run with. And that's the Veteran Reach Back Group falls with the P&P design. The same concept is there. I want somebody to take and run with it. The Real Apparel. That one will always be me. But if somebody wants to take it and run with it, absolutely. What I mean by it'll always be me is I always want to have access to drop my creative designs, and beyond that, they can do whatever they want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That one was just me creating to get back my mental.
I love the designs
balance
you've got there
in that.
At P&P
and
Design.
so-
There's some amazing apparel there.
Well, thank you, sir. So under that, that kind of took up Veteran Reach Back Group, and then I now lay in Bootleg Barbecue as part of that just because it makes sense. But then we get over to Eagle Rising Foundation, and the same individuals were initially part of that. And so the concept after everybody faded away, I came up with the general concept, and it's twofold. One is community events. When you look on there, you'll see the different past events that I've done, from cooking 2,200 pounds of pork butts for the baseball team. I do a haunted trail on my property and have for the 7 years, where we raised right around $20,000 for the baseball team over the years. I opened it up to the public, other organizations this year. So I'm hoping to gather 3 or 4 additional this year to raise money for. It takes up about 4 acres of my property, and I keep adding to it every year, which is kind of fun. And then sponsored the 3/4 size Vietnam Memorial Wall to Talladega International Motorsports Hall of Fame for one of Talladega's races a couple of years ago, representing 70,000 plus fallen over the weekend there. And then a few other small sponsorships, from veterans raising their kids to get into the sprint car, dirt track, stuff, things like that. Donated money to other local folks that have needed parts or pieces for something or another, just to help them out in a tight spot kind of deal. And then the other side of it is the mentorship side, and that's more focused on, there's 10 different programs total, and I'll cover 2. I'll hit them kind of all, but then I'll really hit the 2. But the concept is having a holistic human that is a good at heart, understands what they bring to the human race, what they bring to this planet, why they're here, even to a certain level, right? Everybody currently has this wild focus on we have to work. That's why we're here. I don't believe that. I believe there's a balance in there somewhere, right? But that said, that's been such a brainwashed thing that it'll have to get. It's a culture change, right? But anyways,
Sure.
I don't want to tangent on that. But point being, with the mentorship side of the house, holistic human. So when you look down there, the 2 standouts aside from this are the barbecue and the entrepreneurial stuff. The rest, you're talking about financial education, wordsmithing, music, artistry, craftsmanship, welding, electrical, plumbing, doctors, nurses, lawyers, whatever, right? Fill in the blank of whatever knowledge and experience that people gain out there that they want to give back to the community in and around, not just them, but the world, right? Because it's not limited to just where you're locally at. It's great, and that's where I want the focus to be as much as possible, but I don't want it to limit there. So the concept is, you as a mentor would come along, and just like I spoke about earlier, you would sign up for whatever you wanted to mentor on. In this case, we'll say ribs, and specifically Kansas City style ribs, right? So you sign up for Kansas City style ribs, and you select the dates and times that work for you for 15-minute meet and greets.
Okay.
From there, you're done. Now I come along, I want to learn about Kansas City ribs. I know a little bit about Texas or whatever, but I go there, I go to that specific category, I see the calendar, I select you because you fit my Thursday afternoon time frame that I got. We do a vibe, right, like we're doing right now, 15
Right.
minutes, find out are we a good fit or not. If we're not, it's no harm, no foul. That's what they're meant for. If we are a vibe, then the mentor reaches back out to Eagle Rising, and me as Eagle Rising will then provide a package back to that mentor and mentee for that mentorship session. They will book it in the system so that we will be able to track it as well and make sure we follow up appropriately and there's no issues and whatnot. So then you will do the mentorship session with that small package. In this case, think third a rack of ribs, a small packet of spices, the full of the gloves that you need to do that session. You can do it through virtual, you can do it in person. Doesn't matter to me, doesn't matter to Eagle Rising in that sense. What I want is you to share the knowledge across, and I want the knowledge to be absorbed. There's no charge for that little package that I mentioned, and I'll cover how that's taken care of in a minute. My thought is
Okay.
you as a mentor have taken knowledge and experience to get that, right? I don't want you to pay to give it out.
Right.
I want you to give it back because you want to give it back. And now on the flip side, now I'm coming in for a taste of knowledge. I don't want to have to pay for that. I pay for enough stuff in life. Every time I turn around, there's somebody begging for money for something, right?
Yep.
So for that scenario, for that knowledge transfer, I don't want it to cost you guys a dime. So how I get that paid for is all those little packets that you heard about. There are small businesses out there, veteran and otherwise, that provide that service. So I've started in the background networking and building my small business entrepreneurs that believe in what Eagle Rising Foundation is going to be, so that when I roll forward with these programs, they will provide small packets either at cost or free or whatever.
Yeah.
We will then build them a link into our website. So now humans are humans, we're creatures of habit. You now as a mentor and me as a mentee start using this rub in example. We like it, so we want more of it. Well, now we go directly through our account and we got direct access to buy it like we're on Amazon. Oh, by the way, it'll directly go to Amazon. So now you're buying from that small business that is supporting our program and you're getting the products that you like. So we're building that mental mindset in of we love this product, this is how we get it. And so now it perpetuates more business for that small business while supporting ours. That's one way that I plan on perpetuating the income there. Now, you look like you got a question.
Nope.
Or 12.
I'm good.
All right. So now the flip side of that is the entrepreneur track that you'll see. So I told you I was going to talk about the two different ones. And the reason is because under entrepreneurial track, say you're a veteran getting ready to transition, whether it's time of service or you're retiring, and you've got this entrepreneurial track in your brain like I did. Like it never left, right? I grew up under, and you asked me that question earlier. I grew up under my grandmother's knee in her house most often, and under the work ethic of my granddad out doing the garden and anything else he had for us. And then on the flip side, I had my other grandparents that my grandmother worked in her own restaurant and ran her own restaurant for 35 plus years. Went and survived spinal meningitis where they told her she'd never walk again, and was back in there greeting her guests and everything else like that, more often than not when she could without her cane. And then my granddad on that same side worked in a thoroughbred farm as well as the restaurant and the back end and everything. And then I watched my two parents work their ass off, from the get go. So it's always been there. And I know that I have it. It's just now I'm being able and putting myself in a place to take and run with it in that sense. So under that sense, right, taking that entrepreneur and the veteran that's getting ready to transition, they will have to apply, and the application will not be easy, but the ones that complete the application will get into the program. I'm not setting a number of how many get in or nothing like that, because if you complete the packet, you will have what it takes in our eyes of the group of mentors and business owners to be an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Now, the ones that can't or don't, try again, right? There's no limit. You
Yeah.
keep running them through, and we'll keep do our thing, right? The ones that get into the program, they'll get paired with the lead mentor and probably 4 subs in the category of business that they're looking at. The intent will be to ensure that they have all their finances, their insurance if it's needed, anything that they need for that particular business that they can launch at their transition date so that they can roll straight from service to their own business and have the knowledge and experience rolling into it from a year's worth of stabilization to do that. Then they stay in the program for an additional year under those mentors at a slightly lower level because they're running their business and everything, but they've got access to everything they need. And then at that year mark, they get back in one of 3 ways or a combination of sweat equity, and I'll get to that one in a second, 5% of ownership. So if they ever take any money out, they sell, we get 5% of whatever they sell for or they take out at the time, right?
That's fair.
Now, the other is third party evaluation at the year mark of what their business is valued at. At that point, they pay us 5% of that value and they walk away and they do their business however they want. And then the third, obviously, being the sweat equity I mentioned, we'll value them as the leader of their business at a certain dollar value. They will give back that number of hours in sweat equity to equal the 5% value of their business by the third party.
Yeah.
So they can give back in all 3 or one of their own. So if they want to give up 1% of ownership, 2% sweat equity, and 2% of, hey, it's valued at this, here's my check. So we only take a 1% draw. I don't care. The point is to not break their business. It's to ensure that they're successful beyond that first year and also give us that residual income and that support from those small businesses that we've helped balloon and create, all from their own determination to get into the program.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So
And honestly, I mean, it's a win-win-win-win-win. I mean,
I found my passion in cooking, right? I've always had that. But a lot of veterans and a lot of people that suffer trauma, PTSD, otherwise, whether it's war or just trauma that they've endured, they tend to turn to drugs, alcohol abuse, anger, whatever, right? And a lot of it's not controllable or what have you. And I've been through very many of those in my chapters. But that said, I found my favorite thing so far is twofold. One, when I can get a group of people in a room that aren't, they could be talking all agreeing or they could be arguing, doesn't matter. They're all talking, right? I put my food out in front of them and they start eating and the room goes silent. And I love that, not because of why most people think, and most people think, oh, it's because you served them great food and you're proud of that.
yeah,
It is that, but the major thing that I love about that is I got them all to shut up. And what that means is I got them to all agree on one thing, that food was good, right?
yeah,
From that one agree upon thing, I can now build a bridge anywhere. Because at that point, they can't say, I can't agree.
yeah.
You can agree on something. Now
You
we just
can't
have to
say we
feel
can't.
where the rest of it is, right?
Oh my
Got you excited. All this food talk.
I got excited. Yeah, you
And then the
can't
other is to
exactly
the
say we don't have anything in common, we don't agree on anything. You
yeah,
absolutely do.
yep. And then the other is to your point, and why I brought it up is the win-win. Like I'm a true believer in there is a way to win-win. Will it be with me and you? Maybe not. We may not be comparing that matches up, but that doesn't mean that you and some other individual can't find a win-win in a similar area of expertise of
Yeah.
what I am or you are or otherwise, right? And you probably can't see it. I show it off one of my
Oh, there it
tattoos,
is.
but it says if we
If
all
we all do a little, it lightens the level for all. Load for all.
yeah. And
That's
then
true.
my other is a Bible verse. I'm not a religious guy, but I'm a faithful guy. And my niece had been begging me for years to get a tattoo. And of course, as you can imagine, a teenage girl came up with some pretty creative tattoos
Oh, really?
that I turned down over the years. And finally, she came and found one, and it's Ecclesiastes 9 and 10. And the gist is that pity anyone that falls down and has no one to help them up. at the end of the day is a big part of the phrase. And when you look around in business or otherwise, you see a lot of that cutthroatness, and people feel like they're challenged or should be challenged. And
Yeah.
going into the bar and grill business, everybody asked me, "Did you done this before or anything like that?" And I'm like, "No," and I probably won't ever do it again. At least not that way. But I
Yeah.
learned. I'm moving. I'm learning and whatnot. But that said, I've gone into it and I present this analogy where everybody can picture themselves. Say there's 6 of us in a room. There's a table in the middle with chairs around it, food on plates, all looks amazing. There's a clock on the wall. Now, say there's 7 of us in there, and all you know is you haven't eaten in, I don't know, 3 weeks or so, and you're really hungry, right? And when the clock starts, you get to eat. So now that's the only information you know. So now you're watching the clock starts, you could do what I imagine you would do, which is rush the table. And if
Yeah.
you didn't, somebody else did. And then as soon as they do, you are, right? Because you're
Right.
starving. So now you all bum rush the table. And the next thing you know, you look around and you ask folks, did you get enough? And some people say, oh, yeah. Some people say no. And some people eat really well and some people won't, right? And there'll be food all over the floor, all over the table, all over the chairs, everything like that. So now I'm going to step back a few seconds in time. And right before that clock starts, I'm going to give you a slight bit more information. You like steak. I like potatoes. We'll say Jimmy over there likes green beans. Mary Sue likes sweet potatoes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough for you to get as much as you want.
Yes.
Now, clock starts. You look around. You're not bum rushing because you know there's plenty, no
Yep.
matter what. So you're not bum rushing. Well, nobody else is bum rushing, so you're not instinctively going to bum rush. So now you walk up to the table and everybody's done eating, and you ask around, "Did you get enough?" And everybody agrees that they got enough, and then you start asking, "How much did you get?" "Oh, well, I got this much." "Well, how much did I get?" "Well, this much." And the variance moves, right, based on
Yep.
the people. Some eat
Sure.
more than others, but either way, everybody's happy. Now, this is where I ask people to close their eyes for half a second and imagine you're still standing there and you have your back to the table and you turn around and look at the table. And I ask you to describe when you open your eyes what you see at that table.
A clean table.
Okay.
I,
Exactly. Right. So
right.
all the food that wasn't on the floor, wasn't on the table, wasn't on the chairs, right?
Right.
It's either gone or it's still on the plates, more
Right.
likely because it didn't get knocked onto the floor. So now when we look at it, we all got our fill. We have some left over. The beautiful part is I didn't tell you there was any more food in that second scenario, did I?
No,
I
you
just told
didn't.
you there was enough for you. So all I did was change your mindset by one little phrase. And now, not only has everybody gotten as much as they want, we have enough that if somebody else walks up from outside the group and doesn't quite have enough, they can step up and still enjoy their equal fair share to get them started. Now they're a productive member of the group, and now they're able to build off that as we all do at our own levels.
Yes.
So,
That's
yeah.
a great
Anyway.
analogy, man. Oh, wow. I love that. I love that. And
So,
and I absolutely love what you're doing, John. Everything the help that you're giving the veterans and everything you're doing, it's just fantastic. You're doing the
thanks,
Lord's
sir.
work, brother.
I appreciate it, man.
Um,
I call it being a good human or trying to, and I'm not
yeah.
perfect by any stretch. You won't ever catch me saying that. So
No,
don't
you know
don't
what?
ever think I don't want folks thinking I'm arrogant or or
None of us are perfect,
boisterous or
right?
I am at times. Don't get me wrong,
Perfect?
but no,
No, it's just I absolutely love somebody who takes their talents and uses them to help other people, and you're one of those guys. Um, we'll talk offline, but I'll have all the links that you want me to link Eagle Rising, whatever else you want to link. Those will be in the show notes. And I really,
All
really,
right.
really appreciate your time today, sir.
Yeah, man. Thanks again for having me.
Human first.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you found value in this episode with my guest, John King, it would mean the world if you shared it with a friend or family member or took a moment to leave a comment or a review. It's one of the best ways to help others discover the show. This show, by the way, is brought to you by my sponsors, John Tevlin, Dave Lewis from Playing to Pitch In, and the fabulous Sue Jackson. If you'd like to support the show and help us keep spreading kindness, we have both tiered and one-time support options available on Buy Me a Coffee, along with a merch shop. You'll find both of those links waiting for you in the show notes. And if supporting financially isn't possible right now, that's completely okay. The most meaningful way that you can support the show is by doing a one small random act of kindness each day. It truly makes a difference. We'll be back again next week with another episode, but until then, remember, kindness matters, and so do you.